I am about to show you a chart. And I have to warn you, once you see this chart, you cannot unsee it. It is one of those things that quietly rewires your brain. You are going to walk around for the rest of your life seeing every dollar a little differently. You might even feel a flash of something like anger, a small, quiet, "Why did nobody show me this sooner?" Because here is the truth that this chart reveals, and it is the most important idea in all of money. A dollar is not a dollar. When you hold a single dollar in your hand, your brain says, "That is $1." But that is wrong. That dollar is not what it is. It is what it could become. And what it could become, if you treat it right, is so much larger than $1 that it almost stops feeling real. Last time, you and I did something important. We built your first chunk of money. We talked about the gap and the system and how to go from zero to your first $10,000. And right at the end, I told you that the moment you have that money, leaving it sitting in savings is a mistake. Because there is a force in the universe, quiet, invisible, almost unbelievable, that can take your money and multiply it many times over while you sleep. Today, I am going to show you that force. I am going to draw you the chart. And by the end, you will understand why the people who get this get wealthy almost without trying, and the people who don't stay stuck forever. I am Sprout. And remember, I started as a single coin. Well, today you are going to find out exactly how a single coin becomes a forest. Let's grow. So, what is this force? It has a name, a boring mathematical school textbook name that completely hides how magical it actually is. It is called compound interest. And I know, I can already feel half of you reaching for the pause button. Compound interest. It sounds like homework. It sounds like the most boring thing a person could possibly talk about.
But stay with me for 90 seconds, because I promise you, this might be the most valuable 90 seconds of your entire financial life. Let me explain it without a single textbook word. Imagine you have a single coin, and that coin has a magical property. Once a year, it makes a baby. A tiny new coin pops into existence right next to it. Cute, right? But here is where it gets wild. Next year, the original coin makes a baby, and the first baby coin is now old enough to make a baby of its own. So now you are making more coins, faster. And the year after that, the original makes a baby, the first baby makes a baby, the second baby makes a baby, and so on. Every coin you have ever made starts making its own coins. The makers make makers who make makers. This is the whole secret. Your money makes money, and then that money makes money, and then that money makes money. It is not a line. It is not steady. It is a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger, and the bigger it gets, the faster it grows, because there is more of it to grow. There is an old story about this. A man does a great favor for a king, and the king says, "Name your reward." And the man, who is clever, points to a chessboard and says, "Just give me 1 grain of rice on the first square, then 2 on the second, 4 on the third, 8 on the fourth, and so on. Just keep doubling for all 64 squares." The king laughs. "Rice? That is nothing. Take it." But the king did not understand the force, because by the time you get even halfway across the board, you are pouring out more rice than the kingdom can grow. And by the final square, there is not enough rice in the entire world to pay the man. From 1 grain, just by doubling. That is what compounding does. It starts so small it looks like nothing, and then it explodes. To really feel why this is special, picture the boring version for a second.
Imagine your money did not compound. Imagine it only grew in a flat, simple way. The original coin makes a baby every year, but the babies are lazy and never make babies of their own. In that world, $1,000 growing at 10% would just add a flat $100 a year. After 30 years, you would have $4,000. Fine, not nothing. But it is a straight, boring line. Now compare that to the real world, where the babies make babies make babies, and that same $1,000 becomes over $17,000. Same starting money, same rate. The only difference is whether the growth is allowed to feed on itself. 4,000 versus 17,000. That enormous gap. That is the entire difference between simple growth and compounding. And it is the reason the rich seem to get richer in a way that feels almost unfair. Their money is not lazy. Every dollar is out working. And every dollar those dollars make goes right back to work too. Forever. Okay, now let me draw you the actual chart, the one that changes minds. And I am going to use real, honest numbers, with one promise to you. I am not going to lie to you or hype you up. I am going to tell you exactly where the numbers come from and exactly what could go wrong, because this channel does not do fairy tales. Deal? Deal. So, let's take $1,000, just $1,000, and let's invest it, not in savings, in the actual stock market, in a simple basket that owns a tiny piece of hundreds of the biggest companies. I will explain exactly what that means and how to do it in a future video, so do not worry about the how today. Just stay with the idea. But let me at least give you the one-sentence version, so it is not a total mystery. Instead of trying to pick one or two winning companies, which is basically gambling, even if it does not feel like it, you buy a tiny slice of all of the biggest companies at once, bundled together into one single, simple thing. So you are not betting on one horse, you are betting on the entire economy to keep growing over the long run. Which, over the long run, it has, again and again, for over 100 years. If a few companies stumble, who cares? The others carry you. It is the calmest, most boring, most reliable way an ordinary person can own a piece of the whole machine. That is where that 10% average comes from. Not luck, not genius, just owning a small piece of everything. And waiting. Now, over the last 100 years or so, that kind of investment has grown, on average, by about 10% a year. I want to be honest with you about that number. It is an average. Some years it goes up 30%. Some years it crashes and drops 20% and it feels awful. It is a bumpy, scary, up and down ride in the short term. But over long, long stretches of time, decades, it has averaged around 10% a year. Nobody can promise you the future, but this is the history. So let's use it. $1,000, 10% a year. Watch what happens. After 10 years, your $1,000 has become about $2,600. Okay, nice. It more than doubled. You are thinking, that is fine, but it is not life-changing. Keep watching. After 20 years, it is about $6,700. Interesting. Notice something. In the first 10 years, it grew by about $1,600. But in the second 10 years, it grew by over $4,000. Same money, same 10%. But it grew almost 3 times faster in the second decade. Why? Because there was more of it making babies. The snowball is getting bigger. Now keep watching, because this is the part that does something to your brain. After 30 years, that single $1,000 has become about $17,400. Let me say that again. $1,000. You did nothing. You added nothing. You just left it alone for 30 years. and it turned into more than 17,000. But that is not even the mind-bending part. Here is the mind-bending part. Look at when it grew. In the first decade, it added about $1,600. In the second decade, about $4,000. But in the third decade, it added over $10,000. The final 10 years grew your money more than the first 20 years combined. This is the shape of the chart. This is the thing you can never unsee. It is not a straight line going up at an angle. It is almost flat for a long time. Boring, slow, you are tempted to give up. And then it bends upward, and then it shoots toward the sky like a rocket. People call it the hockey stick. Flat handle, then whoosh. And here is the cruel trick hidden inside that shape. The flat part, the long, boring, slow handle of the hockey stick, comes first. For years, sometimes for a whole decade, it feels like almost nothing is happening. You put money in, you check your account, and it has barely moved. And it is so tempting to look at that and think, this is pointless, this is too slow, this is not working for me. And so most people quit, right there, in the flat part. They give up during the most boring stretch of the whole journey, and they walk away just before the curve was about to bend upward and pay them back for everything. They dig up the seed in the third winter, the very season before spring. Please do not be that person. The flatness is not failure. The flatness is the entrance fee for the explosion. Every single person who ever got wealthy from this had to sit through the boring part first, doubting, wondering if it was worth it. The boring part is not a flaw in the plan. The boring part is the plan. And this shape, this single shape, explains almost everything about money and wealth, because the explosion happens at the end, which means the most valuable thing in the entire equation is not how much money you have. It is time. And that brings me to the twist. The part that, when people truly understand it, changes the decisions they make for the rest of their lives. So lean in. Let me tell you about two people. I will call them Maya and Liam. Maya is smart. At 25 years old, she starts investing. She puts in $5,000 a year, and she does this for 10 years, from 25 to 35. Then, her life gets busy. She has kids, a mortgage, the whole thing. So, at 35, she stops. She never invests another single dollar for the rest of her life. She just lets what she already put in sit there and grow until she is 65. So, Maya invested for 10 years, total of $50,000 out of her own pocket. Then nothing for 30 years. Now, Liam is also smart, but he starts late. He is having fun in his 20s, figures he will get serious later. So, Liam waits. At 35, the exact age Maya stopped, Liam starts. And Liam is disciplined. He puts in $5,000 a year every single year, from 35 all the way to 65, 30 years straight, no stopping. So Liam invested for 30 years, total of $150,000 out of his own pocket. 3 times as much money as Maya, for 3 times as long. So at 65, who has more? Common sense screams Liam. He put in 3 times the money. He worked 3 times as long. It is not even close, right? Wrong. It is not even close. In the other direction. Maya, who put in $50,000 and then stopped, ends up with roughly $1.4 million. Liam, who put in $150,000 over 30 years, ends up with around $800,000. Read that again. Maya invested 1/3 of the money that Liam did and ended up with almost double, because she started 10 years earlier. Those 10 extra years at the beginning gave her money more time to compound, more time for the babies to make babies, and 10 early years beat 20 late years and $100,000 extra. It is not a typo. It is not a trick. It is just the brutal, beautiful math of time. Let me sit with that for a second, because I do not want you to just hear it and move on. I want it to actually land. Maya stopped putting in money at 35. For the next 30 years, she added nothing, zero. She probably forgot the account even existed half the time. And during those 30 years of her doing absolutely nothing, her money quietly turned that $50,000 into around $1.4 million. Meanwhile, poor Liam was grinding the whole time, faithfully sending in $5,000 a year every single year, feeling responsible, feeling smart and disciplined. And he still finished with barely more than half of what lazy, long retired from investing Maya ended up with. The difference between them was not effort. Liam tried harder. It was not discipline. It was not income. The only thing Maya did better in her entire life was start sooner. 10 years. That is the whole story. 10 years at the beginning was worth more than $100,000 extra and 20 extra years of grinding effort at the end. If that one fact does not make you want to start something today, go back and look at the chart again, because it should genuinely change the way you live. This is the single most expensive lesson in personal finance, and here it is in one sentence. The most expensive thing you can do with your money is wait. Every year you wait to start is not just one lost year. It is one of those magical end years that you are cutting off the rocket ship part of the curve. Waiting does not cost you a little. It costs you the most explosive, most valuable years you will ever have. So if you take one thing from this entire video, take this. The best time to start was years ago. You cannot change that. But the second best time, the genuinely second best time in the whole universe, is today. Right now. With whatever small amount you can. And let me make that real, because I do not want you to think you need $50,000 to start. You don't. Watch this. Say you cannot do $5,000 a year. Say you can only do a modest amount each month. Let's say $200 a month. That is it. The price of a few dinners. And you do that, automatically, for 30 years. Over 30 years, you will have put in about $70,000 of your own money. Spread out, a little at a time, barely noticing it. And at the end, thanks to the force, that $70,000 becomes somewhere around $450,000. $70,000 in, $450,000 out. You did not get a raise to do it. You did not win anything. You did not get lucky. You just fed the snowball, a little at a time, and gave it time to roll. That is nearly $400,000 of pure growth, created out of patience and almost nothing else. Now, I promised you honesty, so let me keep that promise. The ride to get there is not smooth. There will be years where you look at your account and it has gone down, and your stomach will hurt, and every instinct in your body will scream at you to pull your money out and run. There will be crashes. There will be scary headlines. There will be moments where it feels like the whole thing is broken. And here is the secret of every single person who has ever actually made the force work for them. They did not panic. They did not pull out. They knew the chart. They knew that the dips are temporary and the trend, over decades, points up. They held on. Because the people who get rich from this are not the smartest people in the room. They are the most patient people in the room. The ones who can plant a tree and not dig it up every winter to check on the roots. And one more honest thing, because I will never sugarcoat this for you.
Over 30 years, prices go up too. That is called inflation, and it means the money you end up with will not buy quite as much as that same number would today. A future $450,000 is not the same as $450,000 in your hand right now. I am not going to pretend otherwise. But, and this is the whole point, your money growing at around 10% a year still vastly outruns inflation, which has historically crept along at only 2 or 3% a year. So, even after you subtract out rising prices, you come out enormously, life-changingly ahead. And here's the part people miss. The alternative, leaving your money sitting in cash, doing nothing, feeling safe, is actually the real loser. Because then inflation eats it alive year after year and hands you nothing in return. Doing nothing is not safe. Doing nothing is a slow, silent, guaranteed loss. The force is how you beat it. Now, before I give you your move, one warning. Because this force has a dark side, and you need to know about it. Compounding does not care whether it is working for you or against you. It is just as powerful in reverse. When you owe money, when you carry a balance on a credit card, for example, that exact same snowball is rolling downhill, except now it is rolling toward you, getting bigger and faster, burying you under interest on top of interest on top of interest. The wealthy have this force working for them. Most other people have it working against them every single month, and they do not even realize it. Same force, opposite direction. The person who understands it earns it. The person who doesn't pays it. We are going to rip the lid off exactly how that trap is built very soon, because it might be the most important defensive thing I ever teach you. So, what do you actually do with all this? Let me give you your move. Step 1. Understand that the goal is not to time the market. You are not trying to be clever, to buy at the perfect moment, to predict the crashes. Nobody can do that. Not the experts, not the pros, nobody. The goal is simply time in the market. Get in and stay in. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time. Step 2. Make it automatic. Exactly like we did with saving in the last video. You set up a small, regular, automatic investment. Money goes in every month, no matter what the headlines say, no matter how you feel that day. When the market is up, fine. When the market is down, even better. You are buying the same thing on sale. Automatic, boring, relentless. The system removes your panicking human brain from the equation. And that is a feature, not a bug. Step 3. Start now, with whatever you have. Not when you have more. Not when you feel ready. Not when the timing is perfect. Now. Because remember Maya. Remember that 10 early years beat everything. The single most powerful financial move available to a normal person is simply to start early and then have the patience to do nothing for a very long time. Let me bring it home. A dollar is not a dollar. It never was. Every dollar you hold is a tiny seed, and inside that seed is a tree you cannot see yet. When you spend a dollar carelessly today, you are not losing a dollar. You are losing the whole tree it could have grown into over 30 years. And when you plant a dollar today and leave it alone, you are not saving a dollar. You are planting a forest that your future self gets to walk through. Let me make that painfully concrete just once. That impulse purchase you are tempted by this week. Let's say it is $100 on something you will have completely forgotten about in a month. In your head, it costs $100. But now you know the truth. If you invested that $100 instead and left it alone for 30 years, it would grow into roughly $1,700. So the real price tag on that little forgettable purchase is not $100. It is $1,700 of future you. Now,
I am not telling you to never spend money. Please, live your life, enjoy things. That matters too. I am just saying that now you can see the real price. And once you can see it, you get to choose on purpose instead of by accident. That is the gift this chart gives you. It lets you see what a dollar actually is. I told you at the start that I began as a single coin. Now you know the rest of the story. A single coin, given enough time and enough patience, does not stay a single coin. It becomes a sprout, and then a tree, and then a whole forest of trees, all making more trees, all on their own while you sleep. That is not magic, that is just compounding. And it is available to you starting today. But, and I have to be honest with you, there is a problem. Compounding is the most powerful engine in the world, but an engine needs fuel, and the fuel is the money you manage to keep and invest. And here is the uncomfortable truth I have to tell you next time. There is a hard limit on how much you can save. You can only cut your spending so far. At some point, you hit a floor, and you cannot squeeze out another dollar no matter how many coffees you skip. So, if saving has a ceiling, how do the wealthy keep feeding the machine? How do they get past the limit that traps almost everyone? In the next video, I'm going to show you why you literally cannot save your way to wealth, and the other half of the equation that almost nobody is working on. It is the half that turns comfortable into free. I am Sprout. Your forest is waiting. I will see you in the next one.